Thursday, everybody. You're here on To The Point, and I'm your host, Eric Mitchell. Hopefully you're having a great week as we've jumped full bounds into May and on our way to summer. The sun is out, so hopefully you're getting out there and enjoying some of it with this good weather. I know they want us left in our houses, but we need to get outside, so at least go for a walk. Let's jump into the news today. It's another crazy day. Unemployment, of course, as we know, every Thursday, the unemployment numbers for last week came out today. Shows just actually a decrease. So 3.3 million new unemployment. So these are new people filing for unemployment. So that is down significantly from the last few weeks. Still tracking our numbers north of 34 million Americans unemployed or without a job. And that's why we're here, right? The show, we have segments throughout the week to help you. If you're sitting at home and you're watching this, one, thank you. Two, make sure you subscribe and click that notification button so you know when we come on. And three, just be watching because we're going to put guests on that are going to help you with your journey. And I want to make sure that our entire team can gives that to you, that you will always have a guest on this show at least a number of times a week that are going to help you with that job hunt and give you tips and tricks to help you be successful. So I just wanted to put that out there as our PSA for the day. So let's get to the news. So we had an article that dropped and it was talking about the folks that fled New York City before the city was shut down. What we're learning is the travelers that leaving New York City for various reasons and went around the United States were responsible for much of the spread of the second wave of the coronavirus. That's right, the coronavirus was spread. So New York Times, so give or take if you're going to take them as a reliable source, the New York Times reported that they're tracking genetic makeup of the virus. And they now believe that many scattered outbreaks in localities around the U.S. had their roots in New York City. Like we weren't expecting this. We didn't shut the airports down, so of course it spread. Duh. Okay, anyways. So I know it's been a confusing week because we heard at the beginning of the week that we were going to stop having the Corona Task Force. Well, they changed their minds apparently yesterday, and now the Corona Task Force will remain indefinitely. Not that anybody's actually watching those meetings. I'd actually rather watch the new press secretary. She's doing a fabulous job, doesn't take any guff from the press. And it's good to see that. I love having a good press secretary. I think every administration should be known for their press secretary. Keep the president behind the line so he doesn't have to take all the fire from the media. This has happened with every president, not just this one. The media and the president always clash. Don't believe me? Watch The West Wing. It even happens there. Here's something crazy. Costco reported that their monthly sales fell for the first time in over a decade. Crazy since we've been going there during the pandemic for our toilet paper and napkins and every other thing that we seem to be told that we were running out of. Now our biggest concern is running out of red meat. So Costco is down, which is odd because they always seem to be very busy every time I'm there. I don't know about you guys, but that's what we have. And let's jump to some sports. In the sports world, we have a report that will be out tomorrow from Major League Baseball. The commissioner and his team have asked the teams to come together and put a plan in place so we can start baseball with them returning to spring training as early as June for a 14-week spring training 2.0 and the season starting in July. They still want to run their full season and they don't want to go into December. That's on top of NASCAR, which is starting May 17th in Bristol with fans in attendance. And also the UFC 249 is Saturday in Jacksonville. Yep, and the WWE is still doing its thing. WWE has not shut down at all. Of course, again, Jacksonville UFC, it's huge. Dana White has been one of those guys that has been out in the forefront to make sure his sport, I mean, he understands we need sports. It's a distraction from all the horribleness that's out there. So we have UFC and NASCAR over the next 2 weeks and hopefully a few others. If you're a soccer fan, Major League Soccer has allowed their players to start returning for voluntary workouts under strict guidance, but it's good to see the team starting to do it. We've been waiting for this. So if you're a sports fan, your teams are starting to go back. And tomorrow, the Lakers, Portland Trailblazers, and the Denver Nuggets can return to their practice facilities for the first time since this outbreak. We've gone this long without sports. This is absolutely bananas that we've survived this long. We do have 4 more episodes of Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary, which has been good if you've been watching it. Would love to see in the questions or the comments here of the show, how many people are watching that and what your feedback is on it. We'd love to kind of go into discussion. I was talking to Mark Berman just this morning, our critic that was on yesterday. He wants to come back and we want to talk about it. So I'd love some questions for you guys to be able to tell us what's going on. Now, we're going to jump ahead and be done with the news because I'm excited for our first guest, because not only is this an all-Marine episode, and as you guys know, on To The Point, every Thursday we honor our veterans and first responders, what I call America's badasses. And I figured, okay, last week we had some badasses, but let's up the ante with badass all in one place. So I said, how about I go find my favorites? So we have Kirstie Ennis. Well, she'll be on in a second. Then we have Rudy Reyes, who's going to close out the show. So I close it with, and Rudy and Kirstie, like together, if you smash them together, you would have like the ultimate, like General, I think it's what General Mattis was created of, was their DNA, or they're from General Mattis's DNA. I don't know, but I'm going to go with that. Then you have Lisa Bodenburg, who will be on right after. So we have 2 Marine Corps door gunners. Get the hell out of here with this. And they're both like women. Haha. Anybody out there saying women can't do shit? Check that out. 2 of them. Boom. And then we have Hunter Sebresos. Hopefully I didn't screw his name up. And he's going to talk on, he has this great gig app, also a Marine. So 4, I almost did 3. It's proving I'm a Marine. 4 awesome veterans, all happen to be the best kind of veteran, Marines, coming on the show. So I don't know if you're familiar with our first guest, and I don't know if that means you live under a rock, but Kirstie Ennis will be joining us here. And I found a video for her awesome foundation that kind of tells her story. So before we bring Kirstie on, let's show everybody her video. And I want you guys to go to her foundation. I'm plugging the hell out of this. Her foundation is amazing, and I want to drive you guys to it. So here's a little video, give you a little background about our first guest.
I grew up watching my mom and my dad get up every morning and put on the Marine Corps uniform, and I just remember thinking that they were superheroes, and I just knew deep down that that's what I wanted to do. And I ended up spending 6 years in the United States Marine Corps as a helicopter door gunner and airframes mechanic. Did 2 deployments to Afghanistan. My helicopter went down on June 23rd, 2012, right outside of Forward Operating Base in Al-Zayed. I tell everybody that that was the defining moment in my life.
Well, once Kirstie was injured, wasn't really sure how she was going to find her new purpose. So many different organizations had stepped up to help her while she was in the hospital. I think the Kirstie Ennis Foundation came about because Kirstie was trying to find a way to give back and pay it forward. One of the ways that the Kirstie Ennis Foundation supports other nonprofits is by writing a grant to those other organizations, giving others the opportunity to find healing in the outdoors.
My initial introduction to the mountains was actually through snowboarding. But one of the things that mountaineering has really taught me is to embrace failure.
In my opinion, Kirstie climbs to connect herself with something that's greater than who she is. People understand how hard it is for her to do what she does, so they look at themselves and say, my God, if this person, with all of the adversity she's faced, can go off and do these amazing things, then I can do these small goals I've set for myself, and I can accomplish what I need to accomplish.
My personal mission and the Foundation's mission, we are here to inspire men, women, and children with or without adversity to just use more of their potential, to do more. Whether it's me individually or what we're doing with the clinic, I hope people see that and they use that as a foundation or the building blocks for them to say, you know what, I can do a little bit more, or I can go after this goal. I don't want it to be only focused on one community. I want it to be focused on people worldwide.
So let's get to the point with our first guest. Hey, Kirstie, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
It's been forever since I talked to you. I think last time I spoke with you was before you trekked off to, go climb Everest, which is so freaking weird to say that in a sentence. Like, oh, she was just going to go climb Everest the last time we spoke. So.
Yeah, definitely been a little while.
Yeah, but it's amazing. I mean, truly, my daughter tells me that she was so excited that we were interviewing you. And as you know, you and we've been connected for years. My daughter is 15 and absolutely loves you because she thinks you're like badass all in one. Like, is there anything that you can't do? And I'm like, she always says that catchphrase. She wrote a report about you her freshman year for her journalism class. And she coined this thing. You know how people say, what would Jesus do? They're like, what would Kirstie do? Is basically the same thing, because you've climbed. I mean, you attempted Everest, and by attempted, you made it to the freaking top, like the scary top. And you like tell that story, because to me, your Everest journey, I mean, we'll get into all the other things, but to me, Everest is like, as somebody who has all of their body parts, I look at you going, holy shit, she's smaller than me, but she climbed Everest, and I know my ass could not climb Everest. So you did that, like, awesome. So tell that Everest story. That was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so back in 2017, I actually started what I call my Climbing for a Cause initiative. And I was essentially going to climb the highest peak on each of the 7 continents, or the 7 summits. And after, successfully doing several of them, I went out to Nepal and did an Everest base camp trek. And when I laid eyes on Everest, I just knew that it was the mountain that I had to do. And not only to prove myself to other people and to myself, it was more so hopefully that I could kind of set the standard for other, if you will, disabled people. So in April and May of 2019, I spent 7 weeks climbing the tallest mountain in the world. And on my summit day, I was the first team up. We put in literally our own boot pack, which was an absolute nightmare for somebody with one leg. And about 600 feet from the top, like the very solid summit, I actually ended up making the call to go ahead and turn around because my climbing partners ran out of them. And to me, in that mountain with this group of people, and if I made it to the top without them, it wasn't going to be worth it to me. So I just remember thinking that, I turned around, but I mean, the most important part of it was that I actually tried. Everest is always going to be there, and I can always go back for it. So the fact that I made it to where I did proved to me that I was what I was capable of, and it gave me just this confidence that, I could go out and do anything. I could climb Everest. I could tackle whatever mountain, came my way.
I'm sorry. I'm just motivated hearing you say that, because you're like, yeah, Everest will be there and I'll go back. And, I made the call because they were running out of oxygen and I didn't want to. I mean, it's so awesome to hear that. I mean, this is just everything about you. I mean, the fact when I heard that you were getting the Pat Tillman Award, I was like, it couldn't go to a better person, right? You epitomize that as a veteran, right? Or just as a human being, just anybody who's around you. And we've been blessed to spend some time around you. And I can tell you, it was like motivating, because you are just like a little rock star and you're humble about it, where so many other people in the world are not. So I noticed you're in your truck and we're talking about all the awesome things you do. Where are you headed right now?
So I'm actually headed down to the Panhandle of Florida. I live in Colorado right now. But all of my family is back there, my sister, grandparents, cousins, the whole nine. And if you haven't seen in the news right now, it is up in flames. I have some of my friends that are basically family that are all down there. And so right now we are en route down to Florida to see if we can help out our family and loved ones in whatever way possible. So we'll make it to hopefully in the wee hours of the morning today, or tomorrow rather, and then finish making our way to Florida.
Just gonna go save the world somewhere. You keep doing that. Hurricane Harvey, climbing all the tallest mountains. So I of course, some people have seen the amazing video that ESPN actually did for you. I love the way they did it. It was really cool. Jessica Biel, not a bad person to do a voiceover and show your story. So this is a veteran episode, right? Every Thursday we talk about it. And so we do talk about mental health. And I know that you lead the forefront for this because you've had your own journey. And one of the things that's always taken away in any interview that you've ever given, you talk about how you truly have never healed. And it's something that you deal with everyday basis. What advice do you have for folks? Now, we have more people who are all shooting on the same basket with us that are going through their own forms of, trauma during this pandemic, being stuck in their home, which compares nothing to what you went through or anybody else. But how do you keep your head right, and what advice do you give to folks to kind of keep that upper mental, you smile on your face, right? Anytime there's always this Kirstie smile that makes you go, oh, Wonder Woman's at it again. So what's your advice to folks to keep their chin up?
Yeah, well, so my mantra that I live by is it's the 6 inches between your ears and what's behind your rib cage. And basically that is, if you keep your head and your heart in the right place, you can overcome absolutely anything. And the reality of that is we can't control what's going on around us. We can't control what this sometimes crazy, vicious world is going to throw at us. But what we can control is how we react to it. We control our thoughts, emotions, and perspectives. So if we have the ability to shift our perspective and focus on, the end game or what's going to be next, and make sure that we realize that we always hold the next move in this, this game of life called, or chess, if you will, that, we can actually overcome and tackle everything or anything. So to me, it's 6 inches between your ears and what's behind your ribcage.
I love it. So before we get you back on the road here, 2 more questions for you. The first one is, tell us about your foundation. It's amazing. I know I always try to share it whenever I can and whenever I see it. And of course, you have great video. But, tell us more about how people can help. I know a lot of people are on here. They send us messages all the time. And they're like, how do we help these organizations that you put on? So now I'm like pushing it to make sure we get it out. Tell us a little bit about your foundation.
Yeah. So the Kirstie Ennis Foundation was actually started back in 2018. We're 100% volunteer based. So any money that comes in either goes directly to our programming or to our operations. We provide quarterly recreational therapy clinics. So the intent behind that is, the outdoors saved my life. It gave me my life back and opened up many other doors for me. So I want to give that opportunity to other veterans, other disabled people. We also provide funding for other nonprofits, other deserving nonprofits. And then we actually recycle medical device technology like prosthetics and wheelchairs to the third world countries that I climb in. So those are the 3 main pillars of the foundation. If you want to follow along, check out what we're doing with the expeditions. It's just the KirstieEnnisFoundation.com. You can follow along on Instagram and Facebook, and it's, the Kirstie Ennis Foundation.
So what's next for you? What other mountains can you climb? Obviously, you're going down to go save Florida, and I'm just giving you a hard time about that. But you're going to go do that. So what's next for you? I understand that you just got your real estate license. So, what's next for you?
Yeah, well, because of the whole COVID-19 situation, we're kind of looking into taking some of my small businesses, all virtual, so hair salons and gyms and all of that in Southern California. I'm still working on my doctorate in education, and unfortunately, my Denali climb was canceled. That was coming up this month, but fingers crossed, I will still be headed to Antarctica in December to climb Mount Vinson, and God willing, be the first amputee to ever snowboard down. Just a couple of things.
Just no big deal. You just say it like, yeah, that's where I'm going. That's what I'm doing. I want to thank you for coming on, Kirstie. You are an inspiration to us all. I know as a fellow Marine, you're exactly what when I think of a Marine, it's you. So thank you so much for all you do for all of the veterans out there and for everybody out there with disabilities and everything, being that pillar of light, even through everything that you've gone through, you surely are that pillar of light. So we all are thankful for you. Please be safe, and let's have you on really soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And again, sorry for the truck shots, but bear with me. And next time I'm on, I will not be in my truck.
Thank you, dear. Be safe.
Yep.
Are you not motivated now? Do you feel like any gripes that you have today you probably shouldn't have? Because yeah. She's like, yeah, I'm going to go climb this mountain in Antarctica in December. Oh, by the way, I made it to Everest and I decided for the team's safety to stop. Come on. Do you get any better than that? And you just add on top, she's a Marine. So speaking of bringing on Marines, and before we go to our next break, let's take a quick pause for some information. So let's get to our next guest. Our next guest is returning to our show. And yes, it's a theme, 2 door gunners. That's a pretty good thing. We're ready. All we need is some pilots and we're ready to go. We're set here. So we have our 2 awesome door gunners. And we're going to go to our next one. Lisa Bodenburg, United States Marine, will join us again. So Lisa, welcome to the show.
Hey, me.
How are you doing today?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm doing it. It's good to see you again. And, how's it feel following up after Kirstie? You both have the same MOS, both served in the Corps. It's pretty badass, right?
She's wonderful. I don't even feel like I should be speaking after that. That's a hard act to follow. She's absolutely incredible. And just extremely inspirational. And she just reminds me that, you know, sometimes even while I'm thinking about my struggles, I'm like, man, you know, I can do this. She can do it. She's leading the way. I can do this too. And, you know, I hope that everyone takes that message away from her, because that's what she's trying to inspire. And she's wonderful.
Absolutely. I mean, I believe, I mean, you and I are both, you know, Marines. So she really lives that motto, tip of the spear, right? She is truly leads the way for us all. It doesn't matter if you were a Marine or served. I mean, just watching her and everything, she's so selfless. When you would think with everything she's been through, losing her leg, in fact, what people don't know is that she attempted to take her own life less than a year after her accident. And her father was also a United States Marine, and he told her, "What the hell are you doing? Like, really? The enemy couldn't bring you down. A helicopter couldn't bring you down, but you're going to bring yourself down? Get up." Which is, you know, you got to love the Marine mentality, is like, get up off your ass and let's go to work. And, you know, you don't only have that minute to feel sorry for yourself. And I think she did a fabulous job driving that home. So let's jump into mental health. I know we grazed over it. We were talking with Kirstie, but when it comes to mental health, and I think it's important to understand, you can't really see the symptoms of somebody who's suffering through mental health, right? You can't tell if somebody's depressed. I mean, how can you, what advice do you give to people who have their chin down? I asked this question to Kirstie. I'm going to ask it to you. What advice are you giving to folks with their chin down? Everything sucks. They've been told they're going to be locked down for another 30 days. What are you telling folks that you're around how to keep their chin up?
Yeah, and that's a great question, because it really truly is up to us. And unfortunately, we live in a society where we're told what to do, we're told what to think, and people may not want to admit that, but it's very true. A lot of that comes from the media, and, you know, we all have a television in our homes, and everything that they're telling us, we start to then think, and then we start to then act on those thoughts as well. So somebody who has their chin down, first and foremost, just stop. You gotta put the brakes on, you know, pull out all the stops and recognize you don't have to have your chin down. You may have reasons why you're feeling those feelings, and they're valid. I don't want to take away from that. They're absolutely valid, and you're allowed to feel those feelings. However, recognize the amazing things that you have to be grateful for. I always tell people, have 3 things in the morning that you start to write down to be grateful for. They can be very simple, as clean drinking water, food to eat, and a roof over your head. And if you're watching this right now, you have some sort of device that's connecting you to the internet, that's allowing you to watch this episode right here. So there really are so many things that we can be grateful for. And when you start to pivot your mind and think from that perspective and start to act from a place of gratitude, you can totally change your circumstances.
Outstanding. I mean, it's so true. I'm laughing because I'm getting a lot of comments right now, and I have to tell you, everybody's like, "Holy crap! This is how you start a show with 2 badass Marines that are, you know." I mean, they're like, seriously, really? What do you? I mean, people are motivated. You're inspiring people, and this is, to me, I mean, everything you said was mic drop, right? But to me, it's the traffic from what we hear going on in the background, people talking about how you inspire people. How does that transgress to you as your mission? I think a lot of us, when we get out of the military, almost as we get out of the Corps, like we're just having some Marine conversation here, you know, as we get out of the military, you know, people like struggle with the way that they look at themselves, right? But when you're able to help other people, you know, I believe service never ends. I believe my oath, which ended a long, long time ago in a galaxy long, long away. Most of you were, I mean, I hate to say this, but some of you weren't even born or were like 1 when I enlisted, which scares me. Like, I don't even want to know how old you were in 1994. So let's just leave it at that. You're like, I wasn't even around yet. But, all right, I'm getting close. But I mean, how does it make you feel helping others? Right? Serving others is an amazing feeling. Instead of being where you want to be able to pull back on yourself, you're like, look, I mean, and you could, as a veteran, you could have the mentality, I serve my country, I'm done. I don't want to help anybody else. I'm good. I did my service. And I know people that are like that. There's nothing wrong with that. More power to you. But how does it make you feel helping others and serving others?
Yeah, for me, Eric, it has been my driving force and my driving factor. And many of us who joined the military, especially post 9/11, we knew exactly what we were doing when we were signing up. We were signing up in a time of war. We knew in our bones that we wanted to serve and that we were meant to serve. And that does not stop after you get out. And quite frankly, that can be the number one cause of mental stress and other mental health disorders when we're getting out. The Marine Corps and the military in general, we can do a better job at transitioning our veterans out. If you think about it in reverse, when you go into the military, you have to go through a boot camp, correct? Why is it not the same when you get out? Because when you go through boot camp, they are breaking you down and rebuilding you and reprogramming you in the way that they want you to act. The same thing is necessary on the reverse, coming out of the military. We don't do a good enough job. We do not serve our veterans well enough and prepare them with the tools and equip them properly in order to get out of the military in a healthy manner. Because that door shutting right away, that just quick change when you have to go from your whole life is service and dedicated to now what? And many people don't recognize that you can still continue to serve. And that has been paramount for me. When I was struggling so badly with depression and when I was on the brink of suicide, that's the one thing that helped pull me out when I finally was able to get on the other side of that is service. And it still helps me to this day. I still struggle with depression. I'm still struggling with, finding that boundary of between, happiness and peace. But when I'm helping others, when I'm serving others selfishly, that helps me. And I am very open and honest about that. I love to serve others and I love to help others. But also the reason why is because selfishly it helps me as well. So I know that when I'm inspiring other people, that's going to get me motivated. And sometimes that's what gets me to the gym. You know me and being in health and fitness, I 100% believe in the power of health and fitness and what it can do for our brains and our bodies. So I know I have days like everyone else that I don't want to go to the gym, right? But if I realize that when I'm going to the gym, I'm inspiring other people, that in turn is going to pull me to the gym and get me motivated to working out. Because you're not likely going to do something for yourself, but you're more likely able to do something when you know it's going to serve others. And that's just true and it's inherently true for the vast majority of us.
That's so true. I love the way you say that. Is you have to think about outside, right? What makes you feel good is what makes you feel good. But as you become an influencer, people follow you and you have this public business, it's very fun to, be able to motivate others while they're out there and do their thing. So that's what I enjoy hearing is you're able to go tell people to do that and get your own butt off the couch. And I've kind of coined this little funny phrase called discipline over distraction because it's so easy to get distracted, right? You could get caught up in doing something. Trust me, between running a business, having kids, having a TV show, and trying to do all these other things, and still I do binge watch stuff. Trust me, I am guilty of Netflix as anybody else is. Trust me, it's hard not to be. Disney Plus also, the Beastie Boys documentary and Last Dance for the Michael Jordan thing. Come on, it's just filling my queue up. But one of the things you touch on it, and let's go back to it, because mental health to me has never been such on the forefront as now, right? We've always talked as veterans, as any one of you I'll bring on a Thursday, we'll talk about we struggle with. Most of us have a suicide attempt under our belt, which is nothing to brag about, but to me, it's almost a badge of courage that we got to the lowest point and we know where the bottom is and we know how to get higher up, right? That's kind of what we do. Where do we take this now with the general public has had it, right? They've seen celebrities. We've lost some great rock musicians to suicide because they couldn't handle it. Linkin Park, just countless others. Of course, the veteran community with our 22 or more a day. And then we've lost athletes to it. And then we have people like Kevin Love who come on and talk about mental disorders and how he struggles with it and suicide and depression. Now we have everybody kind of, again, shooting on the same basket dealing with this. People are depressed and you're starting to see suicides be reported, doctors and ERs and such. How can people prevent that? What's a healthy method to prevent taking yourself from that dark space and kind of find the way to the light? And it includes who to call and reach out to and all those things. Please share that.
And that's fantastic. I'm actually so grateful to hear how much it has become talked about now. Because before, I can remember as a child, that was a very do not touch topic. You don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. You don't talk about it. If you hear about it, it's something that is kind of swept under the rug and nobody talks about it. That only makes the problem worse. So the fact that we are talking about it and we are bringing it to light and people have the courage to talk about it and stand up, even against all odds, other people may be judging them for it. That's fantastic, because the very first step is to be able to talk about it. When you don't talk about it, you're only creating more problems for yourself. You're only digging that hole deeper, because then you start to get in your own head and you almost think that you're crazy and that this is insane and you're not having these thoughts and things like that. So just the fact that you're able to talk about it is huge, and it should be that way. Going from there, now that you're talking about it, you want to also ensure that you're getting the help that you need. If you have to reach out to certain people, if you have to get help with by seeing a psychologist or a therapist, I'm a huge proponent of that. Even if you think that you're healthy 100% and there's no issues going on in your life, every single person has issues. It doesn't have to mean you're all the way down in the dumps and you're thinking about suicide. It could just be your normal everyday life. But mental health is just as important as our physical health. So if you're going to go to the doctors for a checkup, why wouldn't you go to a therapist for a checkup as well? So I highly encourage that. And of course, fitness and nutrition. There's a huge connection between our brains and our guts. And I don't want to go too in depth with that because that's a whole show in itself. But if you're feeding your gut properly and you're feeding your body healthy foods, you're literally going to be happier. So serotonin is created in the gut. It's the happy hormone. And many people don't recognize the connection between our guts and our brains and our mental health. Everyone knows by now that if you get a great workout in, if you go outside, you get a walk, you get your heart rate up, you feel better. You usually feel happier, right? That's also along the same lines of those releasing those happy hormones. The same thing goes for our guts. You see those people all the time. It's on movies that when, somebody gets broken up with, they go and they sit on their couch and they get out the Ben & Jerry's and they're eating their ice cream and they're eating their feelings away. But if you think about it, that doesn't actually make you feel better. That actually makes you feel worse. So what you want to do is eat healthy and eat properly, because when you're feeding your gut properly, you're going to feel better as well. So talking about it, getting the help that you need and the support in no matter what aspect that is, and then just taking care of your body physically and mentally.
Outstanding. That's sound advice. I mean, I love it because it's all things that you need to take into consideration and not be afraid. I know people back in the day were afraid to go to a therapist and talk about their situation. And I know some veterans struggle with it too. I see Tony Campbell here, a Navy veteran, wrote in and said, one of the hardest, and I totally agree. I think anything with the VA is frustrating, but calling the suicide hotline and listening to this automated message, because it's just horrible. And if you haven't done it, if you're out there and you're like, you hear all of our nightmares about the VA and you're a civilian, call the VA, call the hotline, go through what we go through, put yourself in our shoes of this is supposed to be here to protect us. And it causes more. I mean, for years, we've had a rash of suicide in the parking lot of VAs with vets being told, oh, come back in 6 weeks for your mental health crisis. You'll be okay. Breathe in and out. That's always the part. But anyways, Lisa, it's been great having you. I got to get to the next guest. We'll have you back on again because I want to keep deep diving into this topic. And
Eric, I can't hear you anymore.
Oh, that's not good. Well,
I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
I'm sorry.
We still have you. So that's what we have. We'll bring Lisa back. So thank you for joining the show, and we'll see you real soon. There we go. So we'll be back right after this message. So we're back in our next guest, keeping with the Marine Corps theme. We have Hunter Sebresos, and he'll be joining us right now. Hunter, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Eric. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Hey, Semper Fi, bud. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. You got a series of Marines here. It's a regular ton tavern.
I know, right? It is. We should call it. Everybody's just so motivating. It's hard to. It's really difficult. It's hard to top. You guys each have like amazing things. It's like one after the other. I mean, although Kirstie kind of wins because she attempted Everest. So
yes, that is pretty impressive.
yeah, I'm like, now I feel really bad when I'm like, I'm tired and I don't want to go walk the dog. No, I don't walk the dog. You know, Kirstie climbed Everest, and now she's off to go save Florida. Like she's like, I'm just gonna go save Florida. So let's talk about what you have. You have this amazing app, right? It's an app.
It's an app.
An app.
You can download it from the App Store. Yep.
Okay, well, let's talk about it because we have, like I led the show with, we have, again, 3.3 million new unemployment, joined on top of 38 million people now are employed across the America. So your app comes in help here. This is what I talk about. So your app, let's talk about bacon. And number one, I love talking about bacon. So we could talk about food too if we want to, but let's talk about your app first and how it helps people. And if you're out there without a job and you're listening and tuning in, you don't want to miss this because this could help you.
That's right. So we're all about making temp work professional and reliable and respectable. And the way that we do that is with an app. It's an app that's a two-sided marketplace similar to like your Uber or your Lyft, a gig economy app. And instead of just driving jobs, what we actually provide are all types of jobs. So jobs in manufacturing, catering and events. We have jobs in warehouse and shipping. And what you do is you basically download the app and you can go search through opportunities, and you can work even as short as a single shift and get paid for that shift. What we're really doing right now is focusing on finding those companies out there that are active and essential and helping them staff up to meet the demands of the changed COVID-19 environment.
So awesome. I mean, what made you come up with this? I mean, I love it. It's so awesome to see it created, and at such a great time when we have so many people looking for something. And the freelancers are kind of feeling it when everything I'm reading is the freelancers are the last to get approved for these PPE loans. It's really difficult. So I know a mad shout out to the freelancers and giggers that are out there. And then you read more about gig economy. We just saw Uber. Was it 3,000 people let go from Uber? I saw Airbnb just released more employees today. So it's crazy to see this. So your app is really there. So let's dive into that. So you have Bacon app. So where do folks go? How do they get on? And like, what's the process? Like if somebody is like, okay, I need a job, I need to earn some money. The $1,200 that the government graciously gave me is gone. I know it was supposed to last 8 weeks, but you and I both can figure out math and know that $1,200 will not last anyone 8 weeks. Most of us, it wouldn't last a week. If you have kids, you're feeding them, people, and trust me, they eat nonstop, especially if they're teenagers in your house. So how fast does the process work? Kind of walk us through what the process is with Bacon.
Sure. So Eric, it's as simple as downloading an app from the App Store. You can go to the Apple App Store or the Google Play. You search for Bacon Work. We're all about work. So you'll find it there. It'll come up. You can download it. You can also go to www.bacon.work. I want to emphasize something. We are seeing an influx of workers coming in to join our workforce. We have great people coming on. Just a quick story. I have an individual who has an MBA, very highly qualified, very capable person. He owns some restaurants in the Denver area, and with everything that happened with COVID-19, he's had to move back to Utah to be with family and close those restaurants down. And he's told us, I will work anything. I don't care what the pay is. I just want to stay active, stay busy, and keep hustling so that I can make it through this and come out better. So an individual just has to go to the App Store, download it. But what we're really looking for are companies that are still active and need help. And I can tell you a little bit more about what we've experienced. We have seen, of course, some of our business, about a third of our business, was events and catering related. And we haven't seen a single post from those companies since the beginning of March. But the other types of companies we have are, like I said, in the fulfillment, warehouse, and manufacturing space. And we've seen an increase from those companies as they have shifted and adapted to these new conditions. And so What we need are those companies out there to reach out to us and help us help them find the people they need. If I might mention one more thing, Eric, one of the things we've done to help out with this new condition is to provide those companies that need the support from workers a little bit of a help. And the way that we've done that is we've said, we aren't going to charge fees for the next little while here. We're just going to help people that need to find work, and we're going to help companies that need to find good people, and we're doing that during this time so that we can keep the economy going and keep companies that need the help finding the help.
So awesome. This is great. So if you're an employer out there and you're looking to hire some folks, you definitely need to be going and checking out bacon.work. I'm telling you, it's amazing. I downloaded your app just to play around with it, just to see how it works. I'm always proud of brother Marines just out there killing it, right? And it's so good to see some technology out there. I was so happy when you were pitched to us, and I was like, well, where does he fit it? Oh, he's a Marine. Oh yeah, he's on the show. Come on the Ultimate Marine show today, because this is like, you know how much flack I'm catching for having all 4 guests today as Marines. But producer Chris is in the Army, so I'm technically every day we have the Army on, so we're good.
Okay, good. Well, I'll tell you one thing.
Good.
I'll tell you one thing. The Marines has been helpful to me at this particular time. As you know, that phrase, improvise, adapt, and overcome, right? And with the conditions that we're in, one thing I keep telling people as they ask me for advice for how to adapt to this, I say, all of the strategy you did before March, just put it out the window and adapt and find a way to make your company or your organization successful in today's conditions.
Outstanding. So Hunter, before you go, let's tell the folks how they can find out information. Obviously, we've shared to download the app, but one final time, let's run it through in case they didn't have their ink sticks in their hand. Tell folks how they can best get a hold of you and what's next for you. Obviously, COVID-19 is still around, but share what's up next for Bacon.
Great. So www.bacon.work, whether you're a worker or a company that needs to find workers, go there. We can totally help you out, and we're going to do it for free now because we just want to help you get the help you need. I feel like this marks a distinct difference in the way people are thinking about work and the way our economy adapts to it. And we could come out better from this. The gig economy is there to help our economy stay strong during this time of flexibility and uncertainty. If we can kind of band together as companies, as workers, and find each other and make those things happen, make those connections happen, which is what we are good at doing, then we could come out of this better. And when I say we, I mean the whole U.S. economy and the workforce. And we're resilient. Innovation helps us get this through, so we can help. We hope we can be part of that innovation.
Awesome. Hunter, I want to thank you for coming on. We'd love to have you back on real soon to talk, see how your app's doing, and if you're looking for more folks to sign up for your app. I have a feeling you're going to be really busy come the summertime. You've got over 30 million people looking for work, and I'm sure a lot of warehouses will need to be filled really soon. So thank you, Hunter. Semper Fi, bud, and have yourself a good weekend. Semper
Fi, it's a great pleasure. Thank you.
So we will have our final guest, Rudy Reyes, coming up next. So before we get to our final guest, and one that I've been excited to have on since he committed to saying yes to me, is my good friend and United States Marine, Rudy Reyes. Rudy has an amazing organization. Of all the things he does, Rudy is also a huge environmentalist. He helps save our reefs. He is part and the founder of Force Blue. To learn a little bit more about Force Blue, we've made this for you guys.
The ocean is really the last frontier. It's the largest thing on the planet. It makes the oxygen that we breathe, yet it's so easy for us to ignore.
Coral reefs in particular are like the rainforests of the underwater world, and we're seeing corals die off in many parts of the world.
We put together a program that brought together the world of these special operations combat divers and the world of coral reef conservation and marine scientists. We have a chance with Force Blue to actually make a difference.
We have aptitude and ability, we have discipline and knowledge, but purpose is the keystone that holds it together.
Their intelligence is really high. Their processing speed is very fast. They always need the next thing, They're action oriented.
You don't really intellectually comprehend sharks, but they're not as dangerous as they've been made out to be. There was such a distinct parallel between that and combat veterans.
Remember, we're servicemen. We're starving. Like these animals keep moving to process that air and to keep on the hunt. That's what we need to do with service. The more dangerous or the more honorable, the better. That's Force Blue.
If you take this energy, take a group of men who are willing to hear gunshots and run towards them to serve a larger purpose, converting now that service into a new cause, I've noticed that light come back on.
You're not just going to dive and have fun. You're going now with a purpose. You're going on the mission, and that's exciting.
Great stuff down there. Magical.
I'm very thankful to see what's at stake today. Places like this. This sets the stage for why we're doing what we're doing.
Being in the ocean forces perspective. It's like you are passively engaged in this other world. I think that is the most healing thing on Earth.
Programs like Force Blue is that grace to attempt to allow us the perspective to move forward.
Why not be a weapon of mass construction? Why not go out and rebuild coral reefs?
I can't see the things that happened as a result of my actions in Iraq, but I can see the coral flourish.
What I miss the most is meaning. Like whatever I'm doing has meaning for the greater good.
These veterans, they're such an amazing new voice to the environmental community. People are going to listen to these Captain Americas about saving the environment.
It's amazing how passionate everyone is, both sides, from the ecology side to the veteran side.
This represents our little blue planet, the only one we have. One team, one fight.
My brothers and sisters that are involved here in Force Blue are modeling a transition, a mission of hope and being a force of good and change in the oceans. I'm not done serving. I don't know if there's such a thing.
Man, do we have an awesome guest list today? My man, Rudy Reyes. What's up, bud? Come back to me. There we go. We are going to, producer Chris is going to figure out what's going on. Hey, welcome to live TV. So Rudy's Force Blue is just freaking outstanding, right? I mean, come on, every video you watch, you now want to go support like all these foundations. I do why we do with the technical difficulty here. I do want to give a shout out to Patrick McDonald for tuning in today. Thanks for all your comments in the feed. They mean a lot. So we encourage you, if you have questions, want to be involved in the program, throw your messages into there and let us know if you have questions. If you have questions for Rudy, if you watched Generation Kill or you watch him on social or you're interested in Force Blue, throw those questions here. We'd love to ask them while we go through, or at least we could see them, and maybe Rudy can follow up with you later. Does he have audio? No audio again. We're trying. We're trying. We are trying. Hey, you know, this is the new age. Adapt, overcome, beat down on your phone or computer that you're trying to make it work. So we're working on that, and that means I'm going to dance for you. No, I'm not. I'm going to tell bad jokes, and I'm probably not going to do that. But we'll talk about our guests tomorrow. We have a heck of a lineup for you guys tomorrow. If you are a fan of politics, we will have the one and only Mo Vela on our show tomorrow. Moses, Mo is what he goes by, Vela, from the Clinton, Obama administrations, served under both, and most recently was an advisor to Vice President Biden, who, as you know, is running for president in the 2020 election. So we'll have him on. So if you have questions that you would like us to look at, to ask, I'd love for you guys to send them in the message. So please put them in the box. Keep them clean. Remember, this is a respected official, so we will not be asking questions that come across offensive at all. So if you're planning on writing an offensive question, I'll save you the time. Don't write it. But if you do have a good question, please send them to us. You can put them in our DMs or write them in the comments here in this episode or where you happen to be watching. And while we wait, I'd also like folks to remember that you could subscribe and share every one of our shows. Our shows are loaded up every day, so the segments are there for you to go back and watch your favorite guests and share and see the knowledge of what our guests are sharing. So remember, head over to our YouTube, To The Point with Eric Mitchell, and subscribe today. We'd love to get to 100 subscribers as soon as possible. It helps us change our name from a big code to be able to officially brand it as that. So get us to 100, and we'd love you for it. And also make sure you're sharing our page and following along. That also helps us out. And share with your friends, start watch parties, whatever you want to do. We appreciate your support. So I'm waiting.
Got me?
Hey!
You got me, brother? Yeah, maybe it's the earbuds, brother. Wow.
Woohoo!
Fantastic, my man. Let me lock this down. Let me secure the comms and the video.
Love it.
Yeah, I had to move to higher ground and adjust antenna as per.
I love it. So everyone loved your video. I'm looking into the chat box. We've got a Navy vet. He's like, that's a great video. My man, I mean, everybody probably knows you from Gin Kill.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, brother.
Video. But, dude, what you're doing, you inspire me. I told you this in a private message. I mean it. Your videos inspire the snot out of me. 55 pounds, I'm down because of your...
You look so good. Bro, you look so good, my man. Remember when we had chow and some beers? Shoot, was it 3 years ago? 2 years ago? 2 years ago?
Right across from the Scientology Center. Who could ever forget
that? Brother, you just look like a different man. And I'm just so proud of you, brother. And you know, when we look back at our military service and if you did sports and athletics, even I was a wrestler, but there was still a team. And we say often, steel sharpens steel. We do need community, and we need reflections and inspirations. All of us do, to bring out the very best in ourselves. I mean, when we were Neolithic, we were living in caves. What took us out of the caves and turned us into hunter-gatherers is that some leadership happened, and we started sharpening sticks for stones and started working together to keep them predators off of us and to protect the fire. And then we started hunting ourselves, but we did it together as a tribe, as a village. And you know, the tribe we had in the United States Marine Corps, it crosses generations, and it'll be here for a millennia. And it's still the tribal essence, the steel sharpening steel, the touchbacks and reflections, the inspirations. And of course, I always start my day with working out, and that physical fitness with what it does to the brain and the good chemicals in the brain to stave off malaise, depression, especially, you know, with us brothers and sisters that have been downrange for so long and coming out of the service, and my law enforcement and medical personnel too, that are dealing with traumas, the depression and the PTSD that can manifest in ways that are really destructive. But if you start with your workout, and I know you feel it, I know you know it, you've been doing it, you start with your workout and you get that blood going, the oxygenated blood, it starts attacking the freaking the arthritis. You start feeling good about yourself, you start developing self-esteem, then you can attack your day and be as successful with your 30 minutes to an hour of training. You can be as successful as you are there in the rest of your life.
You know, Rudy, I absolutely love your energy, brother. I mean, I'm just like feeling it through the camera. It's like, I need to get down to SoCal and hang out with you again. I need a Rudy fix.
And brother, I feel you. I'm the same way, brother. I'm kind of like international. You know, I drop to target, whether it's rebuilding coral reefs or working with some veteran organization or doing a film or a television project with other veterans too. I drop to target. I infuse myself with the positive mental attitude and the energy of brothers and sisters coming together and making something happen, because we're in the business of making it happen, brother. You know we are. And it fills me up. So it becomes this like infinity loop. And I call it infinite go.
I love it.
It is, brother. Infinite go. Between go and go is go. Between go and go is go. Between go and go, it's infinite go. And you immerse yourself in with great people. You move your body. You engage with Mother Nature, and then you have a mission. Those are my 4 pillars. There's nothing that you cannot do.
I absolutely love it. So I know a lot of folks are familiar with you as Fruity Rudy from, Generation Kill on HBO.
I'm so fabulous. And
the funny thing is, people are like, "Does he really like that?" So I'm going to tell a story, and then we're going to continue on.
Sure, bro.
But the first time I ever met Rudy, we were at We Are the Mighty headquarters. I was in a meeting at We Are the Mighty, and all of a sudden, I was told that Nate Boyer, the great Nate Boyer, and the amazing
Nate.
Rudy Reyes will be stopping by, and I'm like, I love Nate. Nate's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but as a Marine, Rudy's kind of on that level as Kirstie, right? Like,
thanks, brother. That's a massive honor.
Special legend of these folks, because you watch Gen Kill. I mean, it's kind of like Lee Ermey, right? You see, when Lee Ermey was around, you would be like, "Yeah, Gunnery Sergeant Hartman," if you're a Marine or military. So I'm sitting in this meeting, and outside I see this man in silkies, no shirt on, and he's just doing pull-up after pull-up, like, whoa. And I'm like, what the hell's going on outside? And like, this isn't outside. This is outside an office at a pull-up bar that just happens to be, the man just created a pull-up bar. And I'm like, that's Rudy. And all of a sudden I was like fanboy, which was funny.
Oh, brother, what is it? Just another day at the office?
And they're like, "Oh yeah, he does this." So that kind of gives you the sense of Rudy when it comes to fitness, what he does. But I mean, you can watch him in Gen Kill. Now, you did produce a Super Bowl commercial, right? You were a director.
I was the assistant director of the Marine Corps Super Bowl commercial, brother. It's one of my most honored pieces of camera and media that I've ever done. And even though I'm not in the video, but when you look at my Instagram, you see the behind the scenes of the Devil Dogs from 29 Palms running and gunning and the explosions and such. You'll see me directing them and freaking moving the column and freaking getting them online to freaking return fire. And then the special effects, the explosion goes. And then when you watch the commercial, it's the one where they say, "It's not the ships. It's not the air power. It's not the armor that wins battles. It's the fighting spirit of the U.S. Marine." And you see this platoon commander doing a DA with his platoon, and he comes over the top and he's ba, and he goes, "Tango down on me." Bro, I wrote that. I casted that guy. And you know what, brother? It was a dark green devil dog. A former enlisted, now like a supply officer. I auditioned a recon platoon commander, a grunt platoon commander, and I just got to tell you, this dark green, he had that freaking Denzel essence, and he had command presence on camera. So he could relay that warrior spirit on camera. And there's something to be said about this modern era. And it's full of a lot of talking heads, and we have so much freedom here. Anybody can say and do whatever they want, really, without it vibrating at a high level. But the Zen Buddhists say if a tree falls in a forest and no one is there to hear the sound, did it make a noise? So we have to document and create media that's purpose-driven, not just surface-driven, purpose-driven. And we can affect change in a positive way for all of us. You remember, Eric, when we were small, when we watched Full Metal Jacket, when we watched First Blood, I just turned Jade, my fiance, onto First Blood. She'd never seen First Blood. And when we were kids and we watched The Guns of Navarone with our uncles or our grandfathers, it inspired us. And we watched Rocky Balboa and Bruce Lee. It inspired us to have character and be men of strength and of our word. That's why I work in media now. I hope to do the same things and affect the same kind of inspiration now. And that's why that Marine Corps Super Bowl commercial means so much to me.
Dude, it's a great commercial, number one. If you haven't gone out and see it, go YouTube it. And now you know.
That's right.
Now you know behind the scenes the man who did it. So let me ask you, and we have a lot of gamers out there, and there's a very popular game out called Call of Duty Warzone.
Yes.
Now a rumor has it, not just you are in this, but even Jade is in this, right?
Oh,
I mean,
Jade's the superstar of it.
Right? I mean, and I was looking at it. I got to tell you this, brother. I have the game. I'm a gamer, and a lot of the athletes I work with, as you know, Myers Leonard is the gamer of all gamers.
Oh, yes.
The man, you know,
brother,
Uber
I had
Blazer,
no
we
idea.
wish he was still here.
Myers is my boy. I had no idea because I don't play video games. I had no idea. Hey, and Jade's just right over there. I had no idea Myers is my boy. And do you know how I know Myers? Through Gunnar Peterson, another icon in athletic coaching training. He's the athletic performance director for the LA Lakers now. And of course, he's Mike Tyson's coach. He's everybody's coach. And he's a very good personal friend. He had me over and I met Myers. What a good man. So he's a gamer, huh?
Oh my God. So I'm sitting here, and before I got the game, I was like, you know how you, as the military guy, you're going to go look at the game and be like, I want to see who they dressed on this cover.
Yeah,
who's dressed up.
Yeah.
What weakling did they put on here? They couldn't even get, and I'm like, I know that man right there. That's Rudy Reyes without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm like, wait a minute. I went to your IG. I'm like, okay. Jade. Okay, I'm starting to put this together. I was like, good for you, EA. You went and got badasses to go be on the front cover of your game. So if you haven't gone and downloaded that game, go do it. It's number one. It's awesome. Two, you get to see some badass real veterans in it that you get to be.
Yes.
I'm still trying to find if you have a character in it because I want to be you.
You know what? Right now, I'm not a character. Jade just became a character. And she's like, you know, those legs, they are not as muscular as mine. You know what I mean? But her character, I'm sure, is becoming very popular. And, you know, I would not be surprised. I mean, because of my notoriety in our culture and in the Marine culture and in the veteran culture. And now soon I'll be even more mainstream. It would not surprise me. And I'm up for any challenge, bro.
I love it, man. So before we have you go, I do want to talk about Force Blue because to me, it's simply amazing. The folks, it's global. I mean, it's not just American vets. It's a series of folks. And you guys are out there doing something that you wouldn't think of. And again, like when I think of guys like you, and then I think of Matt Griff at Combat Flip Flops, where he went and really has this message in third world countries to really, you know, Afghanistan, women leading the way. You know, using cartel places to build product, and then, you know, taking exploded ordnance to save lives and turn it into jewelry. Now you're doing that and saving our environment and our dear, precious oceans. What made you come up with this, man? How did you come out of it? Where did it go from acting to, you know what? F it. I'm going to go save the environment while I'm at it. I'm just not a badass enough. How about I go save the environment?
You know, Eric, how Force Blue started, you know, being a recon Marine and being in a team, and then ultimately becoming a team leader and doing martial arts and competing my whole life, I was always driving to something that seemed almost esoterically heroic: sacrifice, discipline, passion, and serving the archetype of hero, which is you do the right thing and you do what's brave and what's bold, and you stand and fight when others are afraid to. Well, after I got out of the Marine Corps, even when I was contracting, I was doing counterterrorism in Northeast Africa. It became very gray, and out here in Los Angeles and in the entertainment business and such, it became very gray. And I didn't know I was living in New York and bouncing between New York and LA and anywhere and everywhere I had a job. And I didn't have a mission anymore. I did not have something special to believe in. And after going as a combat diver, I really never did fun diving in the Marine Corps. It was always austere. It was hardcore. We do submarine lockouts in freaking cold water. And it's always at night, heavily laden with gear under an incredible amount of stress. And as you know, that's just our freaking Uber to work. The Uber being our freaking legs and hips kicking at 200 pounds of kit. And then we're either going to assault something in the hinterland or patrol another 20 clicks up into a mountaintop and set in for recon work. So it was really, really arduous. And I went to dive in the Caribbean with a good brother of mine, my co-founder, Jim Ritteroff. And he used to do the Cayman Islands PR. and he had a trip set up for him and his daughter. And he saw me on the streets of New York, and I was not well. I was struggling really bad with alcohol, substance abuse, depression. Again, without that mission of virtue and with beautiful people to do it with, we have pride. We have pride, our abilities and our skills, but there was no place to put it. I went diving, and I got into Mother Nature again. I got clean and sober. I started working out hard, feeling good about myself, having some self-respect. And after being there 10 days, we were finding out that those reefs were being destroyed, and that these coral reefs that Rudy, you're so fortunate that you get to see this before it's gone. I said, what? This is going to be gone? This is what saved my life. This is what brought me back from the brink. And I said, we've got to do something about it. I felt so strongly that we have to do something about it, because we're men of action. If you join the United States Marine Corps, if you're a U.S. Marine, we are men and women of action. And that's how the conversation started with Jim Ritteroff, my Coast Guard freaking rescue swimmer, the legend. He'll never say it. Keith Somm. He's the man that the character The Guardian with Kevin Costner was based upon. Us three drinking rum after some rad diving, seeing the most gorgeous animals and fish under the water. And after lifting some weights, we sat around and started talking, and we created Force Blue, the name, and then created the logo before we even knew what the hell we were going to do. But if that's not initiative, if that's not message to Garcia, I don't know what is. Initiative. So then we started looking deeper into it and combining our efforts with scientists. And that's what makes Force Blue unlike anything that's ever been done before, brother. My combat divers, my warriors, we are doing illustrious work alongside science divers and conservationists. And we are rebuilding and repairing, rescuing reefs and the life and the charismatic megafauna that live around it. We're doing turtle missions. We have shark missions on the horizon. So I created a school, and we were all just taking initiative and utilizing our inherent abilities and communication to other people and like-minded people to bring them on board. We made a school, and now my men and soon to be women are Dominus Ominous certified to do conservation science repair diving. My teammates are paid by the state and the federal government. This is really austere work, utilizing hard-fought, hard-learned skills we got in the military. We have British, we have South African, we have Egyptian and Israelis coming next. We have every special force and every branch of service represented. And I see this as like the Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, but this is the Rainbow Six of healing the planet and fighting for the planet's health. And when we're in the Marine Corps, we go out there to fight for those that cannot fight for themselves, and create a place where democracy can take hold, and we fight for each other. Well, that's what we're doing for these reefs.
Dude, I am so motivated now. I want to go get my diving license and go join.
Yeah, brother. We're working on the Force Blue Science Diver Project, in which all veterans, if you have your advanced open water scuba, you can come out to us and train and work alongside of us subsurface.
Wait, I'm going to go do that, because this
right
is
on, bro.
Yeah, Rudy, you're amazing. I mean, we have to have you back. Number one, we have to have you and Jade back.
Oh, awesome.
I got questions for the two of you, just because I want to know who's the more badass. I mean,
Well, she's definitely the more badass shooter, and she's jonesing right now because the COVID and such. It's been very difficult to get her practicing like she likes to, but that's coming back really soon. And we're considering going to other states, and there's a lot happening in her world and her work. But that Call of Duty gig that we did together, that was the first time we worked together. We had so much fun. It was so rad. And I have a feeling it's only the beginning. And you know what? We work together every day as soon to be man and wife. And we work together every day. She's the best teammate that I could ever have.
That is so, I mean, that's awesome to hear. As somebody who's been married for 16 years, I can tell you having a partner that is like one of your brothers in the Corps is one of the greatest things, sure
It
that they
is.
have your back and they get it, and you can take over the world together. Rudy, man, you are clearly doing that. What's a fast fact is over 65 million people have downloaded that Warzone game. That's bananas to me. And seeing you and Jade and these other veterans, that's like, yeah, we're all right there, baby. We're on your street, whether you want us there or not. So I love it. We're going to bring you back because we got to talk about, you served with Mattis. Everybody probably wants a good Mattis.
Of course. I fought. Oh, bro, and I've got the best. I can't wait to tell you my Mattis story, my personal Mattis story like this.
We'll have to bring you back to tell the Mattis story. We're going to tease people, but I want to give a shout out. You have a vet who's been on here, Tony Campbell, United States Navy or Uber.
Yep.
By the way, we've been accused of being very Marine heavy today. Yep, every guest is Marine. And I mean, we started the show with Kirstie Ennis, who said she would not miss an opportunity to be on the same show with you. So
that's fantastic, brother.
So
I just love it, brother. I love these concentric circles and how it's becoming quantum. We're affecting people, not just in our community, but now we're affecting the citizens and communities mainstream around the world. And, that Call of Duty is a great way to show that. My goodness, we are now, like you said, on a game that's 65 million downloads. That's real punch. That is real outreach, and it's only just beginning. I just did a film with Nate Boyer. He wrote it and produced it, or co-wrote and co-produced. I'm doing another film with him in another couple of months. I've got another film coming with a Texas production company, all veterans, Army, Marine Corps, and the money and the support is coming from Skywalker Ranch, from Steven Spielberg. I mean, we're getting there, brother. We're getting there.
I love it. We need to have you back on a whole bunch more to talk about everything you're doing. And then we got to get Nate on. We got to get more of these badasses on. I'm telling you, we just got to start lining them up so people can hear about it. But Rudy, I want to thank you for coming on. I mean, I'm all fired up right now. I think I'm going to go work out now just to take this energy. I'm all like, just like the last time when I met you in person and we had a meal together, I walked away like, I don't even need to get on this plane to fly home. I can flap my arms and get their way because I got my energy. I want to thank you for coming on. Before you go, tell folks how they can plug in, learn more about. We've been running the Force Blue. Plug away. Tell everybody how they could get a hold of you if they want to message you, follow you on IG.
Fantastic. Easiest way with Force Blue, just look up forceblueteam.org. And I can't tell you enough how much Force Blue means to us, the brothers. We're saving freaking warriors, one coral reef at a time. And we, the staff, we don't even make one single penny. Everything is bootstrapped and sweat equity, because what's most important is getting our men and women trained in school, which costs money because the instructors are not cheap. And then we deploy them. Forceblueteam.org. And we've got great shorts and gear coming from Sunga Life, my SEAL brother that does all my swimwear stuff. The donate button's really easy to find. You can find us Force Blue Team on IG. You can find me, Rudy Reyes, at The Real Rudy Reyes IG. Those are the best ways to get a hold of me. And when in doubt, just Google my name, Rudy Reyes, and I'm the first guy that comes up. I know it's kind of a common Latino name, but just Google Rudy Reyes on the first guy. You'll find a way to get to me.
You're the guy with the shirt off usually.
Yeah.
That's you always can find Rudy's shirt off, no matter what.
Yeah, brother.
Rudy's ridiculously awesome. I want to thank you. Oh, before I go, congratulations to you and Jade on your engagement. I'm so proud, happy for you too. I can't wait to see you in person, bud, and we can cheers in person. I can't wait till that day to be really soon. I want to thank you for coming on. We're going to have you back. So thanks again, bud. Semper
Thank
Fi.
you so much, Eric. Semper Fi. Do or die, baby. We'll talk to you soon. Out.
Okay. I have goosebumps from how awesome today's show was. That man is, every time I talk to him, I feel like I'm energized. So be scared, because the last time I had a conversation with him, I jumped into my laboratory and we created a whole bunch of awesome things that made Life Flip kind of grow. So I'm excited because I got a whole bunch of ideas from talking to this man. I absolutely love him. I mean, absolutely, like totally fanboying right now. Rudy is truly an inspiration. If you don't know Rudy Reyes, go check him out. If you're looking for something to binge watch, hey, go watch Generation Kill. That's always good to go do. And then go Google Nate Boyer. Nate's been in a couple movies. You've probably said 12 Strong and other movies you'll see him in. So make sure you go check out those films. Yeah, we have a heck of a show tomorrow. So again, if you're watching, make sure you subscribe and share our channel. Hit that notification button so you always know when our shows go live. You can do that on Facebook and YouTube. Tell your friend. Follow us on Instagram. We're on Twitter too. It's not LifeLit Media, I can tell you that. It's To The Point TV, so you could follow us there. We have a heck of a show for you tomorrow you don't want to miss. We have from the Clinton and Obama administration, Mo Villa will be joining us. You don't want to miss it. Send your questions in so you can have them asked on air. We'll see what questions Mo will ask. Keep them clean, but send them in, because we could learn a little bit about who is running for president. Vice President Biden is running. We have Stuart Tomic on. He's going to be talking about his CBD. We have Jake Hammock, who is a professor who has found during COVID-19 an ability to go serve others. He's teaching first responders and medical personnel's students remotely. So their children, when they go off and work, their children are getting an education from a professor. Add to it, he is an Army veteran and served overseas. And then finally, we wrap it out with podcast host from Get Up Nation. My good buddy, Ben Biddick, will be joining us also on tomorrow's show. So we're going to give you a heck of a Friday after a great week. I want to thank you on behalf of our team here. I'm Eric Mitchell, and my executive producer is Butch Seltzer and Madison Mitchell. And of always, the man in the booth, producer Chris. He's killing it in there with a hectic show and dealing with everything. The team is just awesome. We thank you for tuning in every day. We appreciate you greatly. Remember, I'm Eric Mitchell. Be safe, be smart, be strong, and God bless America.